Like, these would be the order in which I would buy the ships if I had a brand new account. When would I buy the ships? Definitely, definitely, definitely up here. Um, I don't play subs or CVs. Fuck you if you play them. Fuck that. But you would get Shinano first for sure. I don't see literally any reason to get Shikishima personally. I don't see any reason to get Commissar personally. I would never get Ragnar again if I had to reset my account. Go ahead and drop Vallejo in S tier. Um, what do we think? Plymouth. Honestly, now that Sphia exists, it's just so like again, this is worth like to me worth getting. Like unique, fun, strong, how much I like them. What would be the order I would get the ships in? The first three ships I would get if I had a reset account would unquestionably be these three. As far as the actual order, I think Austin's just so much fun. What ship would I miss the most if I had to reset my account? If I made a new account, what ship would I be the most bummed out to not have in my port? Let's go there. I honestly wouldn't miss the Bourgogne at all. I really wouldn't. Like, I never, especially if you have Mecklenburg, there's basically no reason to ever play this ship. Got Loria first, but you got Austin instead. Yeah. Uh, I'm actually gonna put Mech in A for worth getting. I think this is the most relaxing tier 10 battleship in the game. It's the definition of anti-frustration to me. Like again, if you remember, I think I put it in B tier for how strong it is in randoms, but for how much I would miss it, like when I just want to turn my brain off and relax, I just play Mecklenburg. It's just super chill, super chill. Um, you would trade in Austin. Well, that's the difference in people's preferred play style. Austin is the ultimate monkey ship. That's why I love it, right? It's the ultimate monkey boat. And I play about half of my games in a two-man division with a guy who only plays Yu Yang, right? Austin in a duo division with a destroyer, a Vision destroyer and Austin is probably the most singular AIDS combination of boats in the game. Because this thing has 9-3 detect and your D like small under YY has like 6 km detect. So your DD rushes in, spots it, and you funny button a DD at 9 kilometers. You like dev strike them every time, bro. Literally yesterday, I was dev striking a DD every game. I think got a dev strike on a DD in Austin. Like it was every game, bro. It's the most toxic ship in. I don't want to say the most. It's one of the most. It's probably the most toxic cruiser in the game. Division with a destroyer when you are in a destroyer against it. There's nothing you can do because if this thing has the reload booster up and you get spotted, you are instantaneously removed from the game. It's over. Your game's over. It's incredibly fun. You don't really get fucked by carriers because of the god tier AA. You don't really get fucked by BBs because of the 32 mil belt. You don't really get fucked by BBs because you have brawling, like really good torps. Anyone that wants to try to push you loses half their boat. No matter what boat they're in, they lose half of it minimum if you sap burst them. Like, the ship is strong and it's the most fun cruiser. I used to think it was maybe Colbert was the most fun cruiser, but I think it's definitely Austin. And then the combination of how fun Incomp is, the fact that it's objectively S tier in rank, the fact that it's at least A tier in randoms, the fact that it's still incredibly unique. Like, definitely these are the first three I'm getting. And then I'm probably getting Mecklenburg because of the uniquely chill experience. Although, this could change because the Irresistible is coming out, and on paper, it's like twice as good as Mecklenburg. So, like, the Irresistible has more HED PM, double the HED PM. double the HE DPM of Mecklenburg, and more AP DPM and a crawling smoke. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. This could immediately, like, if Irresistible comes out, this ship could immediately go to D tier for worth getting, right? If Irresistible comes out in the state that it's currently being developed in, then Mech would become D tier, because why would you ever play this over the Irresistible? But I do think for now, for me, it's A. Stalin's still probably at least B. The guns are unique. There's nothing that has guns like this in the game. Irresistible is just stupid. Yeah, it's that is some nightmare fuel crack shit. I think there's very little reason to get Plymouth now that Svea exists. Svea has a better smoke radar gimmick, better survivability, overall better torpedoes. It can start a ton of fires. If Svea didn't exist, then I'd probably put Plymouth in my B worth getting, I think. But I think it's just bumped down slightly. The more I play Svea, the more I do enjoy. The more I play Svea, the more I enjoy the sweaty games. Sweaty games in Svea are unlike any other cruiser to me. Is Incomp a tryhard ship? Yeah, it's definitely a tryhard ship. Any ship where you can randomly blow up in is definitely a tryhard boat. Svea is like the ultimate tryhard ship though. Like that, this is the sweatiest boat I've played in a very long time. Probably the sweatiest crew. Austin's very sweaty too though. Austin is incredibly sweaty. But I kind of like that. I either like always sweaty or always chill boats, if that makes sense. The thing that I'm torn with on Svea is half the games are boring and half the games are sweaty. I wish like more of the games were sweaty, but there's not really any way to fix that. That's kind of just the limitation of the boat. Once the enemy flank runs away, there's nothing for you to do. And then Loria. I mean, I'm honestly trying to think, like, would I get Loria again? I would probably get it over Plymouth. Because Loria is also very chill. Loria is very matchmaker dependent. Like, the difference between Loria and Colombo is Colombo shits on everything insanely hard, and Loria kind of like uniquely shits on unarmored cruisers, right? Stalin before Svea. I'm tough. Well, I wanna reevaluate this. I mean, definitely I would personally never get these ships. I would personally never get Shikishima. One, the Satsuma is better and it's a free ship. Like, yeah, it's a super ship, but like it's more of an upgrade over Shikishima than going from tier 10 to tier, right? Like, it is objectively the tier 11 Shikishima. So spending steel on a ship that's noticeably worse than the free super ship, and the only thing really special about it is the gun cal and the reload, but Incomp gives you the same gun cal and the reload, and Incomp is way more fun. Just don't see any reason to get this. I don't really enjoy hybrids at all, so I would not get Commissar. Ragnar is the most boring DD in the game. I'm bored to tears playing this thing. The radar is cope in 90% of lobbies. You have to have teammates in Ragnar because you actually cannot solo carry. You farm about as well as a lot of light cruisers do, but you have like kind of no game impact beyond your farming damage, and I'm not an AFK farmer. I don't enjoy it. Bourgogne is the same thing. It's an AFK farm ship, has no armor, giant superstructure. You just take giant damage from Bourgogne at any angle, but the one angle you don't take damage at is if you go flat, so people love it because they can make 25 mistakes per game and not die. And it farms damage AFK in the kite, but I don't enjoy playing that way, right? If you love AFK kiting, Bourgogne's way up here, dude. If your favorite ships are Henry, Hindenburg, if those are your two favorite ships in the game, then Bourgogne is like an easy S tier for you. Like, I think the ship is trash because I don't like the playstyle that it brings. If you try to play aggressive in this thing, it's like one of the worst battleships, literally in tier 10. Um, I mean, Loria is still like Loria is overall the fastest battleship in the game because it goes 41 knots with brisk all the time. Doesn't need a speed boost. So the crazy speed, the crazy stealth, the crazy armor, the crazy sap. Loria is still pretty unique. It's just a little more matchmaker dependent than Colombo. You really want to see a bunch of cruisers in Loria. If you're not seeing a bunch of cruisers in Loria, then it's definitely worse than Colombo. In high DD, high BB games, right, where there's like 2 subs, 5 destroyers, 2 cruisers, and 3 or 4 battleships, Borgo or Incom, or my God, man, Colombo is way better than Loria. When you just want DPM to point and click people with, and you got to shoot DDs. Loria's not very good at shooting destroyers, low shell count, slow shells, right? Um, Commissar is the Gibraltar problem of good guns on a bad hull with a mediocre gimmick. Kind of, I agree with that. And also, like we've discussed in all the videos I've done about the battleship hybrids, cruiser hybrids are inherently worse because they give up multiple salvos every time they use the plane. The reason why like BB, like Kearsarge and Louisiana are so ridiculous is like you shoot, you send out planes, you drop, your guns are reloaded, you lost 0 gun damage, right? Commissar, you're losing like 2 to 3 salvos every time you drop somebody, and Commissar has really hard hitting salvos, so it's like you will probably farm more damage in Commissar if you never touch the planes. But then like it has no armor and it's gigantic with a horrific turning circle. So even if you're a really good player in Commissar, you might just This is definitely a cruiser that randomly blows the fuck up. Commissar randomly blows up way more than Sfia or Austin blow the fuck up. Like, not even close, dude. The amount of times I have shot at this thing and I'm like, fuck, he dodged my salvo, and I just magically quad hit it through the butt. It's unreal. You'd rather they just got rid of the planes and made the hull better? Yeah, dude, because the guns on Commissar are cracked as hell. These guns are cracked. They're like probably the second best Russian cruiser guns after Stalin. I think that's fair to say, right? Because you have like Petro pen angles with gun cal that overmatches ultralights. The guns on Commissar are mega, but the firing angles aren't great. The hull is dog shit. The turning is dog shit. It just randomly this randomly blows up more than like most cruisers in my experience. I randomly kill this thing so often. I also never see it. After the first few months, like I don't think I've seen a Okay, actually, dude, I don't think I've seen a Commissar in randoms like literally in over a month. Nobody plays this boat cuz it's that bad. And I would probably get Loria over Plymouth because Sfia just does Plymouth's gimmick, in my opinion, like way better. Plymouth is not unique, and in a lot of games in Plymouth, you're not really radaring anything anyway because the ship compared to Minotaur, Plymouth has like a quarter their survivability because of the maneuverability, the gun angles, the turret traverse, lack of super heal, right? Yeah, they're 240, so they overmatch 16 mil armor, which is huge. Also, they pen more. Petro and Moskva gun caliber pens 37 millimeters of armor, which is a dog shit threshold. You want to pen 38. The dog had crack for breakfast, for real, dude. Like, there's no question that Commissar guns are better than Moskva, Petro. Like, they're incredibly good guns. Incredibly good guns. But if you're trying to shoot all your guns at once in Commissar, yikes, dude. You have 35 kiting angles in a gigantic ship with a gigantic citadel with a 25 nose and ass with horrendous. Look at this turning radius, brother. You do have improved healing and you have fast. I think they're fast heals, right? So you can burn through the heals. The problem is this isn't like an asset. The improved heals just marginally mitigates how hard you get shit on. Hey, how you doing, Claudio? You meant 12 guns, yeah. The guns are amazing. Like, if this thing had armor, dude, mwah. If Commissar had armor, it would be an incredibly good kiting cruiser. It's just really sad. We can't give armor to cruisers. We really just can't do it. Um, I'm on a brand new account, and the order of steel ships I get. Yeah, it's definitely in comp first because I play ranked and I like to run at people, and it's just the best in the game at that in ranked. It's super fun even in randoms. Super fun, both strong, super relaxing and strong. Uh Very unique ships that are pretty good, like pretty good, strong unique ships. But I wouldn't like super miss them if they were in my port. Plymouth is just in a weird spot. Like I would just never get Bourgogne in 2025. I would just never get it. Um yeah. Okay. Okay. So disclaimer 1 is you're playing solo in random battles. Disclaimer 2 is you're not dog shit. And disclaimer 3 is that you play aggressive. Okay? Some of these ships are way better if you play passive. Some of these ships are way better if you play aggressive, right? So that's going to change it. Okay. How just straight up good is it in randoms? Z? Bro, Z is S. Who are we trying to kid? Z is God. Z is the God boat. Farming like a daring while cap contesting like a Z52. While being fun to play. While being amazing solo queue. While being able to run Lucians and insta proc the 7.5% DPM buff. Bro, the Z is God. Z is way better than Ragnar. Okay, Bourgogne. All right, now. Here we go. Bourgogne. Bourgogne is B. In random battles, Bourgogne is, again, remember guys, we're aggressive, not bad at the game, and we're playing solo in random battles. Bourgogne does not work if you're aggressive. Bourgogne is a damage farming J-line humper. Not a fan. I'm a Bourgogne hater. Ragnar. Solo random battles. Someone who doesn't enjoy permakiting. I legitimately don't see any reason to get this ship. I'm such a Ragnar hater, bro. I'm such a Ragnar hater. I mean, I'll probably overall objectively like it's pretty good. Maybe we'll like leave it in B and then we'll mix it around. Commissar, again. Aggression and Commissar literally don't go together. People need to stop recommending Bourgogne for steel. I mean, I 100% agree. Remember, this is strength in random battles if you're decent at the game and you play aggressive. Like, the playstyle of a cruiser hybrid with no armor, I would put Hildebrand down here too. Austin S. Okay, probably A played solo. Because this is strength played solo if you're good. Austin is S plus tier in a division. Austin is up here in a div, but in solo, Austin is incredible. Austin is overpowered. Let's stop coping. Every time someone talks about Austin on the subreddit, they're like, Bourgogne's the best steel ship, but Austin's really fun. It's a meme boat. Bro, Austin is not a meme boat. Austin is the king of the sea. What are we doing? Austin shits on everything. It has armor. It has great torps. It has great AA. It's fun. Gone full mental doing tier lists. Stalingrad. I think Stalin is still very strong. I think the people that say Stalingrad is like unplayable in 2025 just out themselves as bad at positioning. You can play it. Euro fault for the Austin meme ship reputation. I mean, it's meme-y. Like, it's so... Like, the reload booster is so stupid, but people be like, It has really bad DPM. Number one, Austin normal SAP DPM is the same as Des Moines HE DPM. So would you say Des Moines has bad HE DPM? Like, no, obviously not. Gato. Honestly, since the sub changes, I mean, I want to put Gato like way down here. But like Gato, the problem with Gato and if we're not just being sub baby ragers for a moment, which is difficult for me to do, the Gato is not good anymore cuz like you really need good sub surveillance, I think. Like if you play Gato into 2501, it's unplayable, right? You can't play Gato into 2501. Like I don't know, dude. And especially with the changes to sub maneuverability, you actually want to ping more, right? Like the old subs, you actually wanted to never ping because you didn't have the maneuverability to juke airstrikes. But with the new sub maneuverability, you can kind of spam ping because you just literally wait to see where the airstrike is dropped and then you just hit Q or E and you dodge it, right? Gato can still shotgun in some situations. Yeah. But you've got to be the problem though is you got to shotgun from periscope, which means you've got to shotgun, between 3 and against like say cruisers, you've got a shotgun between like 3 and 6-7 kilometers. But then if they have 5 or 6 km hydro, you just can't shotgun them at all. And Gato is kind of like completely incapable of killing destroyers because Gato homing torps like go no range, remember? So if a destroyer just runs at your Gato, there's actually legitimately nothing that you can do because a DD player is never going to hit the dumb torps, right? Old Gato, you could shoot the dumb torps at like zero point 0.2 kilometers or 1 kilometer and nuke them. I think to like these days, it's one of the worst subs in the game. I mean, but I do say that as someone who hates subs. Plymouth, I think Plymouth is good. I definitely think Plymouth is good solo. I do think that in most games, like regular UU minnow is better, but Plymouth is definitely good. Plymouth is definitely good. Shinano is. I don't play carriers. From a best sub to the worst sub, what a ride! Seriously though, it will. But it's the combination, Alberto. It's the combination of the meta when playing subs when they released was never ping, because you didn't have good maneuverability and you could get blind dropped like super easy. The meta was never ping and the meta was shotgun. Gato is the best shotgunner, and Gato is the best sub if you're never pinging. But now you can't shotgun, and you also want to ping a lot because you can juke airstrikes at the drop of a hat. So yeah, the fall off of Gato is actually like kind of insane. Shinano is probably unfortunately S tier. Remember, this is not worth getting. This is strength played solo in randoms. Shinano is probably just S tier because you basically have like the carpet bombers of Essex that are as good, if not better, against destroyers. You have like basically the best CV torps at tier 10 in the game. And then like the AP skip bombs are insane if you actually know what you're doing. Archerfish. Fuck subs in general, I agree. Tadio bought Gato. I mean, that's just what you fucking deserve, let's be real. Okay, Archerfish. Archerfish is probably one of the best subs in the game, right? Simply because you have speed, which is the biggest downside of all subs, is that it's hard to reposition and get in a useful spot. And then Archerfish having any kind of main gun, like, it doesn't have great DPM, right? But like you have a 36, you have 1,000 damage per sap salvo, which is kind of very crucial because like you can actually kill low HP DDs in Archerfish. Like you can hunt low HP DDs and archerfish, surface, and trade them. Like a sub that can go plus 40 knots. Yeah. Like it's the best sub at spotting because of its speed. It's the best sub at fucking with destroyers because of the combination of speed and having like the sap volley. But it's also a sub, and sub just kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say they don't have game impact, but they're so team dependent. Even Archerfish, which is probably less team dependent than most subs, like at the end of the day, if a DD with Hydra wants you dead, or the enemy team launches planes and your team dead, the problem with all subs is like you actually do need a team because you can't do everything. I mean, that's good, obviously. I don't know. Maybe someone who plays all the subs can comment, but like I would definitely say Archerfish is like an above average sub. Like U2501 probably still has the most game impact because of the absurd sub surveillance. Svea played solo in randoms as an aggressive player. Probably A. I'm like 30 games in Svea. I feel like that ship is incredibly good. It's somewhat boring for me because, like I said, in about half the games, I feel like you are bored out of your mind. If this player base was decent, subs would never be. Well, the flip side of that, Snow. Okay, I know what you're saying. Like subs would be easy to counter, but the flip side of that is imagine if the submarine player base was decent. Like I will confidently tell you that I would have uninstalled this game if the average sub player was good. I would not play this game anymore. It would be unplayable. The only reason why subs don't grief you 100 out of 100 games that they're in is because subs are only played by terrible players. 99% of sub players don't even know how the sub mechanics work. They suicide. Like literally, you can look up people's profiles and they'll have like a 45 win rate in every surface ship. They have a 52 win rate in the archer fish with 12,000 average damage because they just don't kill themselves. If you just play a sub and don't suicide, you like win every game. It's fucking wild. But Svea is very strong. Svea is one of the best cruisers solo. I'm 30 games in. I can very confidently say that's one of the best cruisers to play solo. Honestly, it might even be like it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Svea is insanely good solo. You can do everything. You can do absolutely everything. You can permakite BBs. You can open water farm. You can smoke farm. You can radar destroyers. You start mega fires in Svea. You actually have ASW. You have 9 3 detect and 8 km ASW planes. You actually don't get fucked on by subs that hard because you also go 46 goddamn knots with the speed boost. So like you're much more resilient against subs fucking you than most cruisers. You're much more resistant against BBs pushing you if you're much more resistant. Like you just do everything. This ship was just like custom made. Honestly, it might be S. Again, this is strength solo. Strength played solo. It might be. It just doesn't need a team. I mean, you need time to farm, so you need your team to not like collapse, right? And you need the enemy team to not push, but like it can kind of do everything. And of course, this is also if you like to play aggro. Because Svea can play very aggro. Now it depends on the lobby you're in if like you're able to, but in comp, bro, in comp is S. What are we? Who are we kidding? In comp's right here, baby. Glass cannon, inconsistent guns, gets fucked by plane spotting. Best AA detect of all the BBs in the game, basically. But it gets fucked by plane spotting. Nukes cruisers, nukes broadsides, DPM battleship. Actually astonishingly good against subs because you actually have stealth ASW planes. Incop will be S plot. That's a very good point, Alberto. It will be S plus tier after the CV rework. Loria. I'm gonna throw people a bone and say played solo in randoms maybe. Well, I mean, I still think it's like insane. Oh, that's just a screen grab issue. Maybe we'll like reorder it. Sheekish, Loria. Loria's at least A. At least A. Loria has one of the best BB hulls in the game. Remember, guys? Remember caveat number 2, you're not a retard? Remember disclaimer number 2, you're not retarded? Yeah, if you're not retarded in Loria, you like take 0 damage from anything. Well, that would, but Daddy-O, this isn't worth getting. I agree. I agree. If this was worth getting in 2025, Loria would probably drop significantly. But this is just isolated, played solo, played aggressively, you're not retarded in random battles. This is just, is it good or good to bad, right? Good to bad. I mean, like, to be fair, Commissar is probably not that bad. I think Mecklenburg is really fucking good too. Mecklenburg over Bourgogne. I mean, what are we even doing? The people on the subreddit that suggest Bourgogne and don't talk like Mecklenburg is just better, man. Because neither of these ships have meaningful overmatch. Like, yeah, Bourgogne is good against a very select few ships. Like like battle cruiser BBs, right? Like Bungo, the Vincent, those kind of boats. Bourgogne is the overmatch matters against those ships in particular, but like Mecklenburg is basically as fast as Bourgogne. It just doesn't get a speed boost. It has overall better guns. Because here's the thing, Bourgogne doesn't Citadel BBs either, right? Bourgogne does not Citadel most BBs past 15. So like, yeah, between 10 and 15 kilometers, Borg can sit BBs and Mech can, but Mech's guns are so much more consistent per salvo that like you just punch up her belt on BBs anyway, and you basically do the same kind of damage. Shikishima, I actually think Shikishima's gotten better. I actually think Shikishima's gotten better, not because the ship has improved, but because we've added a bunch of ships that it counters uniquely. Like Svea. Like Svea. For those that, aren't aware, let's go back to our Svea. Armor layout. 35 millimeter Citadel deck. So Shikishima is one of 3 boats in the game that point and clicks this thing into the dirt. So that's kind of nice. Point and clicking a brand new, very strong cruise. Like, Svea has amazing armor if you angle to almost any ship that doesn't have 508, 510 cal guns. There's also another, like, Novosibirsk has 35 upper belt. Riga has 35 upper belt. There's just a couple of ships in the game where the gun cal actually makes a difference on Shikishima. And 2 of those, like Svea and Novo, didn't exist when Shikishima came out, right? So they've like kind of introduced a couple of ships where Shikishima can punish them. But like, with that said, it's really probably overall not even as good as Yamato. I mean, the pen is nice. The pen is good. The pen is very good. But Mech only has 305s. Never mind the 20k. Yeah, the 20k belt shots on 19-second cooldown when you've got a bit of AR kicking in. Yeah. And Bourgogne is just such a shotgun, man. It's just such a shotgun. Daddy-O is meant to, I like how you didn't even put the Vallejo on here, by the way, Yamato. I approve. But I mean, Shikishima is definitely not a bad ship. Again, if this was worth getting for steel, it would probably be here, right? Like, I don't know why you'd ever get it for steel. But like, is it good? Like, I think it's good. The problem is Shikishima versus Ledgemod Yamato. Ledgemod Yamato is way more consistent against broadsides because you just have the higher shell count with the same like a slightly more damage per salvo and a slightly worse reload. But Shikishima is like a really nice DPM ship, and if you're shooting like bow-in cruisers, bow-in BBs, then I think Shiki's like all of a sudden much better than Yami because the reload just like punches people super hard. It's also very hard to turn out against this thing if it runs reload mod and it has like some AR kicking in. So I definitely think it's like good. Dude, I really just do not like Ragnar. Like Ragnar is a ship that is intensely unfair for bad torp boats to play into, and it's also very unfair for 30 mil cruiser plating cruisers and BBs to get farmed by because like it just perma farms you forever, right? It perma farms you forever. So, you know what? I'm trying to rule out my bias. And I'm gonna move incomp down. And I'm actually gonna put Lori a bit in front of it. Because I do think solo in random battles only. For most people, the incomp won't do as well as Loria. It's probably like this: Battleships diff. Stalin might even be slightly better than Austin played solo in randoms. I'd actually say Plymouth is better than Borg solo in randoms. Again, you're good. You like to play aggressive. You're playing solo in randoms, right? Um, it's probably something like this. The problem with Commissar is unlike based hybrid battleships, you can't really um you don't you can spot for one salvo, right? Because the planes hover, they're attack planes. But the problem is like one commissar salvo isn't like the most impactful thing in the game, right? That's why Kearsarge is so retarded. Is Kearsarge has like the hardest hitting salvo in all of tier 9, and you always get a salvo off when you spot for yourself. Vallejo D or C tier. Yeah, I mean it's not even on here. We're just Yamato didn't even bother based. But I mean I don't think like you can really even argue these being S tier solo in randoms. Again, I don't even play carriers, but like Shinano is breathtakingly overpowered, right? It's just like an Essex. Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, Essex is S tier as well, right? So like, and then Sphia just does it all. Like it does it all. You're you're a Belfast 43 with the survivability cranked up to 11 and gimped damage output. All CVs are overpowered. Yeah, but like if you're in a destroyer, would you rather fight against a Shinano with its fucking ridiculous tech squad carpet bombers, or would you rather fight against Richthofen, right? Like like to me Richthofen is not horrendously overpowered because you can very easily angle to the AP rockets. So player skill can mitigate damage. The AP bombs just don't even do anything to DDs. And the torps kind of like don't hit that don't hit anything but, big ships. So like Shinano is so ridiculous because it farms large ships almost as well as like the best of them, but it also has the ridiculous bombs. Essex is broken too. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the design is just so dog shit because you farm large surface ships incredibly well. My dog is tap dancing all over the house. You farm large surface ships like crazy, but then you also every 2 minutes can just nuke a DD, and you get the smokes. Like it's bananas, dude. It's bananas. It really is. Trying to think. I mean, like Loria probably is the strongest of these ships played solo in randoms. Strongest of the BBs. Mech and Incomp pretty good. Stalin, Austin. Oh, FDR is not even on this list, is it? FDR is not on this list. I think FDR is going to be ridiculous when the CV rework happens, though. Because FDR's biggest asset is the plane HP. but its biggest downside is the plane's speed, right? So when the CV rework goes live, my understanding is that the only planes you'll be able to shoot down will be these strike planes. Um, and so what's going to happen is when FDR goes into attack mode on the CV rework, you won't shoot many planes down because they have a ton of HP. But its biggest weakness, which is that the whole squadron gobbles flak after flak, right? Like that's the problem with FDR is if you get caught out by like Holland FAA, Austin FAA, you actually like lose a whole squad, or you have to send the whole squad back, right? Like that's currently the FDR's biggest issue, that in strike time. But its strike time is going to be mitigated because remember the CV planes will now have a faster travel speed. It's going to be mitigated because now only the attack squadron is vulnerable to anti-air, and it's going to be mitigated because the bulk of the squadron doesn't get fucked by DFAA. So like, I feel like FDR will be much better if the CV rework goes live as last proposed. But I mean, it's a carrier. Like it's probably I mean, like no flak is gonna make FDR crazy again. Yeah, 100%. Like that's gonna be a nightmare, dude. And FDR has so many strikes in a squadron. Like how many ship tool? Like how many? How many? Let's go to attack aircraft. Right. Like yeah, there's 7 attack groups. 7 attack groups. There's 7 attack squads per squadron, and the planes have mega HP. So like this thing will just drop you. It'll drop you all 7 times. Like if you don't have AA, the FDR will drop you just literally 7 times in a row. Crazy, dude. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay. Now, okay, so we did solo and randoms. Okay. I mean, first of all, we're just going to put the sub in CV and D if we're playing ranked. I'm just not even going to entertain this theory. In ranked, Z42 is at least A. Ragnar is legitimately dog shit in ranked. Like, I don't know why anyone plays it in ranked. It accomplishes literally nothing. It actually does not accomplish a single fucking thing in ranked. Like, if your goal is to farm average ranked damage, oh, fuck, yeah, sure, dude. Fucking whatever. Bourgogne is easily AD to your ranked ship. One of the worst battleships in the game in ranked. One of the very worst. Horrible. Mecklenburg is way better. Like, I mean, first of all, I think you're trolling to play a BB with no overmatch. If you don't have 27 overmatch in tier 10 ranked, I think you're like actively griefing your team. But at least the mech like smashes DDs and smashes broadside cruisers for free, right? Okay. Commissar in ranked. Pretty bad. Definitely pretty bad, I will say. For sure, pretty damn bad in ranked. Oh yeah, well we're just not even we're not even considering the subs and the CVs. We just won't even consider them. Ragnar's legitimately Ragnar's one of the worst DDs. If you're not playing a DD with Torps in ranked, you're like literally griefing your team. They don't have to be good Torps, right? They don't have to be good Torps. You need some Torps in ranked. Like if a BB wants you dead in any like there's nothing that the Ragnar first of all, there's nothing Ragnar does against any actual gunboat. It gets shit on by any real gunboat. Number 2, it doesn't have time to farm. You don't win in ranked by damage farming for a long time and surviving. You win in ranked by crushing the enemy team instantly. Silly icons from one or the other. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's fine. Because the only thing he's missing is a tier 9 and the FDR, and I'm not rating those anyway. Commissar's quite bad in ranked, though. Any BB can push it for free. The planes are good at farming damage on cruisers and battleships, but it has no armor. And again, it needs time to farm. Like, ships that need time to farm don't win you the game in ranked, right? Austin is amazing in ranked. Austin is better in ranked than in randoms. Played solo, arguably. Stalingrad is still really good in ranked. I was even playing Stalingrad last season into Libtard. And Stalingrad is actually one of the very few ships that does okay against Libtard because, yeah, you get burned to a crisp, but if the Libtard fucks its angling by even like 10 degrees, you can actually sit it pretty... You can sit at a Libtard really consistently if you have massively improved AP pen and AP pen angles, which Stalingrad has. Because Libtard has no citadel if it's flat, but if it's slightly angled and you get to access... Let's see, let's pull it up real quick. We pull up the armor, right? So like Libtard's perfectly flat and you have to punch through 51 and then you have to punch through more slope than Kremlin armor, right? So effectively when Libtard is perfectly flat, it has over 500 millimeters of armor, right? So like super unlikely you're going to pen it. Anything that hits water first doesn't. But Stalingrad, all you have to do is go through 32 and you have improved pen angles. So if Libtard is angled like this, Stalingrad crushes it on cooldown. So that's another reason it's mega in ranked. You got to ask yourself, are you playing a ship that can somewhat deal with Libtard? And that is one of the biggest questions you have to ask when you're rating ships in ranked. Can it deal with Libtard? Because you got to fight Libtard, right? I think Stalin is still really good in ranked. I really do. Plymouth in ranked is not bad. The problem with Plymouth is Plymouth does not have, what's the best way to put this? The radar on Plymouth cannot really be used to aggress on DDs because Plymouth has a horrible hull and a bad heel and bad turret traverse. So if you're playing Plymouth and you try to sprint in, spot a DD, kill it, and smoke up, that's not really going to work. The DD on Plymouth, the radar on Plymouth is to me like a much more passive tool. Like you get in a position to smoke and then opportunistically you will radar people. And the problem is you only have 4 torps per side. Like in ranked, I would just say Minotaur is way better than Plymouth overall. But I think it's probably better than Commissar. The ultimate problem with Plymouth is the firing angles and the turret traverse makes it very awkward to farm people. And in ranked, there's a lot of aggression. And like, I mean, if I'm in any BB, dude, and I see a Plymouth smoke, like I just run at it. On the flip side, I think Svea is actually a ranked demon. I think Svea is like actually a crazy boat in ranked. I think we'll put it here for now. I think Svea is like legit insane in ranked. Like, there's so many maps in ranked where Svea literally just locks it down for 6 minutes. And it totally shuts down a flank push. Like, in comp, we all know where that's going. If there was an S plus tier in comp would be an S plus tier for ranked if there was one. Ragnar D tier in ranked, 100%, dude. 100%. Ragnar in ranked is my favorite destroyer to see no matter what I'm playing. If I'm playing a battleship, it's my favorite DD to see. If I'm playing a cruiser, it's my favorite. If I'm playing a destroyer, there's nothing gets me more excited than when some clown plays Ragnar in ranked. And it either accomplishes nothing or it's a free kill. There's like, that's it. It does nothing. Loria in ranked is kind of okay, I would say. Kind of okay. Like the overmatch is nice, but the problem in ranked is that you kind of just get run at by people. And Loria can't run away. Loria cannot run away for a very unfortunate reason, which is the rear citadel. You're not kiting in Loria. You can't get away in this thing. You've got to stand your ground and fight bow in, or you get nuked. Like this is citadel, right? There's citadel here. Let's take that other layer away. Right? That is your citadel. 80 millimeters. It's not protected by that much. It's protected by like this little thing. So like you're kiting in Loria like this, you literally just aim where this turret meets the superstructure, and you citadel the fuck out of this ship when it runs away. So that means it's kind of stuck having to bow park people, which is kind of fine in randoms, or you can use your speed, but like in ranked, it's just not as good because you kind of just get stuck. And against libtard, you just kind of burn. It doesn't work too well for you. Just watch your newest video, minute, and the biggest throw from the red. That was quite a throw. Killing the last guy with 0 seconds left. I think Mech is like borderline griefing your team in ranked. I really do. The problem is you don't overmatch any of the cruisers you fight, and you have terrible firing angles. So, like, there's not really any 1v1 against any BB or any cruiser that Mech will win, assuming the guy fighting you is as good as you. The torps are shit. They always perma-break. You don't even get to use them. It gets put in the dirt by libtard, put in the dirt. But really, any BB kills this thing for free. Mech is a farmer, right? Like, farmers don't do well in ranked. You need to crush people as quickly as possible. And again, that's again why Ragnar is not very good in ranked. Ragnar doesn't crush anything. It crushes a 42 IQ Div BR player in a no survivability, no HP flag Shima. Like, that's what it crushes. It crushes nothing else. Shikishima, he's like actually not terrible in ranked, I don't think. It's probably here maybe for BBs, you know? Because we're kind of trying to do within its type of does this make sense? We're trying to do like how good is it in rank compared to ships in its class, right? So like the incomparable is way better than all the BBs in its class. Like, do I think that the incomparable is for, you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. Like, of all the destroyers you could play in ranked, most are better than Ragnar. Because most of them have better game impact. Right? Like, Smallin's better, Z52 is better. Honestly, YY with Radar's better. Daring's better. Druid is honestly probably a better no torpedo destroyer. Hull is better in ranked. Like, there's just so many boats that are better than Ragnar in ranked in the destroyer class. When I have steel, I'm gonna get incom. Fuck yeah, dude. Right, and like same thing with Loria. Like Loria is, like I would much rather be in a Loria than a Plymouth, right? Like if we were comparing Loria in rank to Plymouth in rank, we'd probably go like A and D. But Plymouth compared to tier 10 cruisers you can bring into ranked is not that bad, right? It's not great, but it's not bad. Loria compared to the BBs you can play in ranked, which would be like Vermont, Ohio, Ledgemont, Colombo, incomparable. Like, Loria is nowhere near as good as them in ranked, right? So that's why it's lower, if that makes sense. And same thing with Z, like, is ZS in ranked? Compared to DD, like, let me be clear, if you know what you're doing, any BB's better than any DD, right? Like, that's my point. Like, most battleships have more game impact in rank than most destroyers because they insta-crush people that make a single mistake. Need 8.5k more steel for incomp? Hell yeah, dude. You just gotta grind the Los Andes simulator. I mean ranked. Just got to grind it. So is ZS compared to the DDs that you can bring? What destroyers are better in ranked than Z42? Definitely Smallland. But is that, like, what tier 10 DD is better in ranked than Z42? Probably, definitely Smallland. But is that it, though? I'm debating if Vamp 2 is better in rank than Z. Probably not overall. Vamp 2 is very matchmaker dependent. Gdansk. Gdansk is definitely a contender. Marceau is a contender. The problem with Marceau is... So there's a question you always have to ask, Hujam. If you're considering putting a ship in, can it fuck with Libtard? Can Marceau fuck with Libtard? It doesn't do bad against Libtard. Z42 probably does slightly better against Libtard because you don't have to trade HP to farm it. If it goes flat, you do mega damage with the AP. It has very usable torps. I mean, yeah, Marceau and Smallland are definitely like up there in the best ranked DDs. I think we'll leave it in A. I think we'll leave it in A. Because if the enemy team has a handful of DDs, you kind of can't use the gimmick, right? So, like, the reason why Z42 is so good is you're farming like a Daring, but also cap contesting. But there are quite a large amount of games in ranked where the cap contestation is like totally out the window, right? And you can't even do it. So I think we'll leave it in A because like you could definitely make a case that Smollen's definitely better in ranked. Marceau's at least as good. Kleber is probably about as good. Kleber is probably even better than Marceau in ranked because of the torps. I think Kleb is like still one of the best DDs in ranked because of the YOLO rush potential. Marceau is not very good at YOLO rushing because of the torp speed and damage. And it's very hard to rush a Kleb because it always has torps, right? So, yeah, I would say probably like Marceau, Gdansk, Marceau, Kleb, Smolland are at least as good as Z. And they're probably almost slightly more matchmaker resilient, if we're being honest. So, I think we'll leave Z in A. Yep.